Good morning to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for Monday, the 23rd of September, 2013. We are past the peak of the hurricane season, climatologically speaking. That occurs around September the 10th here. And then we have a pretty steep decline in activity until we get into the mid part of October. And then right there's another secondary peak that comes up. And this is important, especially for South Florida. Believe it or not, October is the time of the year when more major hurricanes have impacted South Florida than any other month. It's more busy than August and more busy than September. More impacts from major hurricanes in October than any other month of the year. And this secondary peak coming up usually coincides with development in the Western Caribbean, and that, you think about Hurricane Wilma almost 8 years ago, you get that development where the storms pop up in the Northwest Caribbean, and then they take a northeast track across southern Florida coming in from the southwest. And that's important because of what I'm going to show you coming up in just a moment in today's discussion. First, a little look at the Gulf of Mexico here. This is the leftovers of what was once 95L. I guess it still is an area of interest. Cloudiness and convection off to the east. But you notice all the clear skies up here, indicative of very dry air. In fact, if we look at the water vapor shot of the same area, all of this black color in here is dry, mid and low level air. The water vapor imagery clearly showing the line of demarcation between the tropical air mass down here and this very dry continental air mass sitting over the United States. And it's interesting, despite all that dry air, this low pressure area trying its best to develop. If we didn't have this situation, this would have gone on to become a tropical storm more than likely. But no, nonetheless, this front came in, strong winds aloft, and the dry air, and it sapped it pretty good. This low will sit down here for a couple of days, and eventually this energy will get shunted off into the westerly flow here and probably produce some type of a hybrid system out over the open waters of the Atlantic, but nothing developing that will be of any consequence to the United States. No tropical cyclones, anything like that. Looking out ahead a week, I usually try to only go to 5 days, but this time of year, the Western Caribbean, as I alluded to in that graphic, once we get close to and into October, especially right around the mid part of the month, we start to see the buildup of heat and energy here in the Western Caribbean as these tropical waves still coming off of Africa are weaker, and so they don't develop out in this area. Instead, they tend to come in and pile up their energy in the Western Caribbean. And if we look out here a week from now, this is the 30th of September, you see 1,009 millibar low pressure area, and there's your wind barb there coming out of the northeast. Here's another weak wind coming in from the west, and this one piling in from the east, and this one coming in from the north-northeast. So you definitely have low pressure trying to take shape in the Western Caribbean a week out. Finally, by day 8, 192 hours out into the future, more convection blowing up, a little bit stronger indication of low pressure here. GFS closing off 1,007 millibar low. Just something to watch. This is I'm telling you, this area is the hotbed of activity when we get into October. And if something is going to impact the United States for the remainder of the season, it is my opinion that it will come from this area right here, and if so, it would come around and hit Florida from the southwest on a track, something like that. If you get it developing closer to the Yucatan, it could do like Wilma. But they also, to be fair, can develop and then cut east very sharp through the central part of Cuba or the Bahamas. That's been known to happen. And then even in 1999, wrong way Lenny. Now that was back farther into towards the end of the season, closer to the end of the season, November there. Lenny went this way across the Caribbean. So this is something we're going to have to watch as we get into October. that area probably going to become active. And it fits the climatological pattern. It's no surprise, nothing to be alarmed about. That's what we would expect to see, even in a year like this. The atmosphere doesn't have a memory. It doesn't know that the season has been slow, and patterns can change. You only need like a 2-week, even a 5-day window where something comes along into a favorable pattern, and you can get very quick development. So just something to keep an eye on. We will look at it each day, and we'll see if the model holds on to it or if it dissipates and it's more of just a convective feedback issue in the model, and if other models pick up on it, such as the Euro, etc. So just something to watch, all right? Otherwise, the week is going to be nice and quiet in the tropics. Have a good rest of your Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. That's my site. Check it out sometime. Always my honor and a privilege to be able to produce these videos for you on Hurricane Pro in HD, providing good information to you, I hope. Have a good rest of your Monday, like I said before, and I'll be back with more for you tomorrow.